Hello everyone, today we will repeat 3 types of street food from all over the world. The first is Italian nougat with nuts. On the streets of Italy, caramel is poured into a copper basin and constantly mixed until it cools down and becomes coffee flavored. Then pour the beaten egg whites and continue to beat. As a result, it turns out nougat, in which it remains only to add nuts. Let's remake it. We need eggs, sugar, honey, water, and nuts. We take a saucepan and pour 600 grams of sugar into it. And also pour 200 milliliters of water. That's it, put the saucepan on the stove and stir until all the sugar dissolves. Check the temperature. Once it has reached 110 degrees, we need some honey. We send it into a saucepan at 160 grams. We continue to heat the caramel to 130 degrees. After that, she's ready. Now it needs to be stirred again every 2 minutes, then it will cool down properly. You still have some time to divide 2 eggs into yolk and protein. We will only use the egg whites. Beat them with a mixer at medium speed. As soon as the foam appears, we add sugar, turn on the mixer to maximum, and achieve a dense foam. Meanwhile, our caramel is lightened up. We transfer the honey to the proteins, and combine it all with a mixer. As a result, we get a really viscous nougat, and all we have to do is add nuts. Mix well with a spatula. Shift all of this mass into a form lined with cling film. Then use your hands to really press it down. After that, we leave it in the refrigerator for 2 hours. That's it, we take out our nougat. And cut it. It turned out to be really light and porous. Let's try this Italian nougat. Awesome! It's like exactly the same as a nuts bar, only without chocolate. The next type of street food is from Uzbekistan. There, a real Uzbek Pilaf is being prepared in huge cauldrons. It turns out very crumbly, beautiful, and I'm sure it's delicious, because otherwise it would not have been spot. Let's repeat it. Right when we were shooting, my brother came to visit me and gave me a carving knife like this. What is most interesting, he and my dad made it themselves from an ordinary file. By the way, they also have their own channel. Therefore, after watching this video, follow the link in the description and see how they made a knife just for me. Well, let's check out and see our work. From the meat, we have the legs of a young ram. Our task is to separate the meat from the bone. We cut the bone as carefully as possible, while losing as little meat as possible. Done. Now cut the pulp into medium pieces. By the way, these are lymph nodes. They have to be cut out, otherwise the taste can ruin the pilaf. We put the meat on a tray, and repeat the same thing with the second leg. We're left with 2 kilograms of pure meat. Now we need the chicken. We cut it into small pieces so that the fat can be melted out of them later.
Done.
Now we take a carrot and cut it at an angle. And then we julienne them. In total, you need to cut 2 kilograms of carrots. Transfer this to a bowl. Next comes the onion. We peel it from the husk. And slice it into half rings. You'll also need 2 kilograms of onions. And pour it into a bowl. Now we need special rice for the pilaf. Pour it into a bowl, also 2 kilograms. It must be rinsed several times until the water in the bowl becomes more or less transparent. I'm going to drain it for the last time. Now we cook it in the cauldron. In a cold cauldron, we immediately dump the chicken. Now we chop some wood. And put some small chips under the stove. With their help, we will be able to precisely regulate the flame of the fire. Now kindle that fire. The fire is burning up. In the cauldron, fat begins to melt out of the chicken. After 20 minutes, the chicken was heated to the maximum. We remove the pork rinds and add in sunflower oil. And there should be about 600 milliliters of fat in the cauldron. We dump the meal into a hot cauldron. And just fry it for a couple of minutes until golden brown. At this stage, the maximum heat is needed, therefore we throw in some more chips. That's it, we've set our crust. Next, pour the onion into the cauldron. Fry it for 3 minutes. Then throw in the carrots. And fry that for literally 2 minutes. We put in the most important spice for our pilaf to the mortar, cumin, and rub it. We send it to the cauldron. After that, we also pour in chili pepper flakes, ground black pepper, a lot of coriander, and barberry. Exactly 1 day before cooking the pilaf, we soaked 0.5 kilograms of chickpeas. If this is not done, it's gonna be tough. We send it to the cauldron and fill it with water. And don't forget to add salt. What is in the cauldron now is called a zirvak, roughly speaking a broth whose task it is to nourish the rice with its taste. And to make this taste richer, we cover the cauldron with a lid. We throw in some firewood and cook the zirvak for 1 hour. We've closed the oven so that the fire is small. An hour has passed and the zirvak has become richer. However, the water is evaporated, so we add some more. We take some garlic and with a knife we pierce the outer shell a little bit so that the taste of garlic opens better in the pilaf. And we send 5 heads into the cauldron. Next comes fig. We distribute it with a slotted spoon over the cauldron, and in order for the pilaf to be crumbly, as in Uzbekistan, it is necessary that the water covers the rice by 1 centimeter. Therefore, we add some more water. We also send some fresh chili peppers in there. That's it. Cover the cauldron with a lid and wait 5 minutes. We remove the lid and pull all the rice onto the center of the cauldron with such a slide. But the coals in the stove, on the contrary, are scattered around the edges to reduce the heat. Thus, rice is no longer cooked, but steamed without absorbing excess moisture. Literally another 10 to 15 minutes, and finally we mix our pilaf. And spread it onto a dish. That's it, we've repeated the real pilaf as in Uzbekistan. Let's try it. This is the most delicious pilaf I've ever cooked. It is crumbly, spicy, slightly sweet. And what shows whether the pilaf was cooked correctly is that there is no smell of mutton, which many do not like. In general, pilaf, it's totally awesome. And the last kind of street food today we have from France. There are bakeries with croissants almost at every step. Puff pastry is prepared. Croissants are baked from it. And they are filled with different fillings. Let's repeat them now. To begin with, you need to unwrap the parchment paper, cut off the desired piece. Pour 200 grams of butter into it. Bend the parchment from all sides. And distribute the oil according to the shape of the square. Now put that into the fridge. For the dough, pour 150 milliliters of milk, 100 milliliters of water, 55 grains of sugar, a small bag of yeast, and of course flour into the bowl, exactly ½ kilogram, and also 150 grams of oil. We install the bowl into the mixer and knead the dough. We take it out, and we rub it a little bit with our hands. You should be left with a really smooth dough. We also form a square with it, and we unwind it and cut off the right amount of stretch film. Go ahead and wrap your dough in that. And put it into the fridge. The next morning, we take out the dough, open it up, and roll out a rectangle with a rolling pin. It should be the size of 2 blocks of butter. We open up the butter, spread it out on the dough, and cover with the second half of the dough. Dust each side with flour, and again roll it out a little bit. So far, we have a 2-layer dough. We bend a small part of the dough on one side, and a large part on the other side. Then we fold it twice again. Wrap the dough with some cling film, and put it in the refrigerator for 1 hour so that the butter inside freezes. We take it out, and roll it out again. In exactly the same way, and now we put it into the film and into the refrigerator for another hour, and we roll it out for the very last time. We measure 10 centimeters of dough out of the ruler, and using a pizza knife, cut into them from the wide side. We make an incision in the middle, after which we stretch the tips to the sides and wrap the dough into a croissant. Spread all that onto a baking sheet. Cover them with cling film on top, and let them stand for about an hour and a half. Put a yolk into the bowl, pour in some milk, and mix. We remove the film from the future croissants and give them an egg wash. Fill an empty baking tray in the oven with water. And put in the croissants. We set the oven to 190 degrees with the top and bottom heat. We are waiting until they turn brown. That's it, our French croissants are ready. We chose Nutella as our filling, so we put some into a cooking bag. And fill our croissants. Now let's cut into them. As you can see, there are a lot of fillings. We're gonna try it. We are left with a crazy, awesome, crispy croissant. If you think that this can be done simply from a store-bought puff pastry, then you are very mistaken. And if you want us to continue the street food series, then put 200,000 likes on this video. Thanks again to my brother for such a great knife. Be sure to click on this icon and watch their video and subscribe to the channel. Bye, everybody.